Let's bring in Kevin Hassett, Director of the White House National Economic Council. Kevin, always good to see you.
Hey,
Thank you for joining us today. You said over the weekend, you talked about Thanksgiving being the hottest time of the year, one of them for the economy, Black Friday and all that. And if people aren't traveling, then we really could be looking at a negative quarter for the fourth quarter. Now, the second quarter was up 3.8%. We don't have the third quarter yet. But are you concerned about there being a negative Q4 because of all this?
Well, first, to follow up on what you were just talking about, that I had a long conversation with Secretary Duffy, and I can say that there's no better transportation secretary in my memory for getting this thing back up and running. And so now that the government looks like it's going to open, we really are grateful for the senators with the cooler heads who are willing to help us do that. Then I have high confidence that by the Thanksgiving weekend, that Secretary Duffy's going to be able to get it almost back to normal. And so right now, I think our Council of Economic Advisors estimate of how much harm there is to GDP is it's probably going to cost us 1 to 1.5 percentage points of the fourth quarter. But that doesn't mean we're going to get a negative quarter. I think if we had 2 or 3 more weeks, especially if it ran into Thanksgiving, we probably would have had a negative quarter. And remember, Martha, as you and I have talked about for years, if you get 2 negative quarters in a row, that's the R word. And so it's really great that we've dodged this bullet.
All right. Well, that is good news. In terms of the president rolling out this idea, and we've talked about this over the last several months, of whether or not affordability questions could be alleviated to some extent by individual rebates for low and middle income individuals. The president now looks like he's leaning towards a dividend of $2,000 per person that would be paid to everyone. What do you think of that plan?
Well, when we were passing the big, beautiful bill, one of the questions was, what should we do with the tariff revenue? And one of the things that I think people believed in the summer was that the best use is to reduce the deficit, reduce the debt. And it's really been working. So right now we've reduced the deficit by almost $400 billion this year. But one of the surprises since last summer is that, although it's not a surprise to Art Laffer, is that since we passed the tax cuts, we've actually had a big increase, almost $200 billion in tax revenue. We thought that it wouldn't be a big reduction like the CBO said, but we've actually had a big increase. And so I think that it's back on the table to think about what to do with those tariff revenues. And I'm sure that the president will discuss with congressional leaders whether, because of all the extra tax revenue, there isn't more room to get checks back to people.
So when people hear that, what's the reality of it? When do you think that people would get these $2,000 checks in the mail from the White House, from this plan?
Well, again, it will have to be passed by Congress, but the reality is just this, that because of Biden's inflation, which averaged 5% over 4 years, that people on average lost about $3,400 in purchasing power, and they've gained about $1,200 this year, but there's still room to go. And so we're making up ground fast, but the fact is that people are still down about $2,000 relative to what their purchasing power was when Joe Biden took office. And so we understand that people feel like there's an affordability problem, but we're closing the gap fast. And with these policies and potentially, rebate checks, we might close the whole gap really, really fast.
Okay, really fast, but you won't say exactly when, whether that's Q1 of next year.
Yeah, not me.
Not yet. Okay. Quick question on this 50-year mortgage. I've heard. I just was watching a panel on the previous hour, basically saying, they didn't think it was a great idea because it doesn't. You don't build equity and you pay more over a long period of time. Do you approve of? Do you think this is a good plan? Is Kevin Hassett a supporter of a 50-year mortgage plan?
Right. The president mentioned it, and yes, I support the president's idea on this. That what it does is it reduces the monthly payment quite a bit for a typical home for middle America, and it's by a few $100s a month. And we need to help people get back into homes. As you notice, the first-time home buyers are now like over 40 years old. And so we really are focusing on that problem. And the bottom line is, though, that the problem really, again, came because interest rates under Biden inflation went up by 4%. And that about doubled the typical monthly mortgage payment. And we're really studying everything we can. We're about to have a bunch of White House meetings about what we can do to afford this.
But isn't the problem that there's not enough houses? There's not enough housing to purchase, so there's a limited supply. And
we're
that doesn't
addressing
really
both
address
supply and
that.
demand. You're right. We're addressing both supply and demand as we study this. There'll be more to announce soon. But housing has been one of the top policy things that we've been studying the last few
All
weeks.
right. We'll look forward to hearing what comes out of that. Thank you very much,
Thanks, Martha.
Kevin Hassett. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.